Hey YouTube, JGreen302. The first thought was to call this Why I Bother, but that's not appropriate. How about Why I Speak? And I will put this out primarily to, let's see, a gentleman that made some comments. G-Man4, I believe was his name. And he asked me, he said, why are you putting these out? And aren't you setting yourself up for the government? Aren't you kind of putting yourself on their radar? I've spent 2 days thinking about that comment. And it's been in the back of my mind. It's been rolling around. Something he said struck a nerve. Not a bad one, just there was a lot of truth in what he said. And I thought about it. So, I'm at the gun store. And I've got military people standing there. And we're talking about, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We actually were claiming the time frame. And we were talking about, if the military goes in and starts dealing with the civilian public. And here's somebody I knew and somebody I didn't know, both in the military. And we're all openly discussing this at a gun shop, which was bizarre in its own right. And a lot of things were said. And we did some shooting, and afterwards I spent a lot of time talking to somebody in the officer corps of the military, friends of mine. And I guess driving home and sitting here, everything that G-Man said came roaring back, and everything was applied to it. And I decided I wanted to respond. And so, G-Man4, this is for you, and everybody else can listen in. Why do I bother making a video on the subjects that I do? Was heavily discussed tonight, and some issues were covered that are part of this answer. So I will start and answer G-Man with the following. 1. As a U.S. citizen, I have the right to free speech, and I am not afraid to exercise my right, because if I just sit down and out of fear give up my right, then I'm not American anymore. I'm not living the American way, and I refuse to do that. It's as good as an answer as I can come up with. 2. I would have to go through every single video, but I am pretty sure that in no point did I advocate breaking the law, overthrowing the government, or asking people to do things against the law. I have covered issues where, should the shit hit the fan, and there are no police, and there is no law to help you, and you are defending, I see nothing wrong with that. If people are trying to hurt you or your family, I approach it pretty much as if you have a concealed weapons permit. If you have a weapon, you are only allowed to shoot to save your life. I think that's fair. I think that's the law. And I think that for the most part, anything I've ever said is tied to that. I have thought through, and I am pretty sure that I have never advocated people standing up and going and fighting the military or fighting the cops. There are very few cases where I would advocate it. Now, if you see a cop sitting there raping some woman and his buddy turns around and sits down and decides he's going to draw on you, I'd shoot the bastards, because their badge is no longer valid. They are if you find somebody raping somebody, you're free to shoot them in this state. There's no questions asked. That's an unqualified freebie. Badge or no badge. I've never advocated that you fight the military, for many reasons. I'll give you the number one. I'll give you the number one as the military sees it. Well, if your sorry civilian ass would like to play with us with our military-grade armored vehicles and our military-grade weapons that you cannot even hope to own, good luck. Yeah, I kind of know how the odds work on that one. You're not going to win. It's pointless. You might play a little guerrilla tactics, but then they pointed out if 320 million want to play with the 2 million and they feel that they're losing control, well, all of a sudden they can light off some very heavy equipment and you start wiping out 10,000 people at a shot. You don't have to do that too many times before the rest of the people are going to real quickly realize you don't fuck with them. And that issue is going to be over. Good point. You ain't shitting. I don't care what the circumstances are. I see them wipe out a whole town. I'm not fucking with them. So why do I speak? We covered this tonight, too. We covered 2 years of everything. And I heard myself speaking to some things that I hadn't actively thought about. And I'm going to share them to you, G-Man 4, and everybody else. I speak because I am nervous. I speak because I am concerned about how I am going to have a house or a place to stay, means by which to eat, means by which to maintain a lifestyle of any kind, from the absolute nightmare through economic collapse, whatever it is. I would like to protect myself against the banks repossessing my home and throwing me out on the street. I would like to protect myself against people that become desperate. We're already seeing interesting cases of people that lose a bunch of things and then either kill themselves or take some people out and then kill themselves. Desperate people do desperate things. If somebody has no job, their ABT cards are shut off, they can't get food, and they're forced to steal, rob, or whatever to take care of their family. I am not going to let them hurt mine to take care of theirs. And I worry about that because crime is on the rise. I worry about protecting me. I'm not worried about protecting you. I'm not worried about protecting my neighbors. I'm not worried about whether or not my country is going to maintain itself as a country or fail as a country. The scope and the scale are too big. I'm not interested in overthrowing the government. These people can do anything they want right now. They will continue to do whatever they want. And me as an individual is not going to stop them. And I have no intentions of playing with these boys. Under no circumstances. Do I have guns? Yes. Do I shoot guns? Yes. Do I plan to take these people on? No. So to answer you, G-Man, the reason I put these things out is primarily because, 1, I have freedom of speech. 2, I am concerned. And 3, I'm putting my thoughts and my concerns out there and the things that I've thought out as part of welcome to the conversation. Join me if you will. Follow along if you like. If you hear things that seem to be valuable to you, great. If you disagree with things that I'm saying, no problem. I have zero problems because I am completely fallible just like everybody else. All I can do is abstract think through the problem and put my answers out there for review. If somebody sees a problem or a fault or something wrong in my thinking and somebody says something, maybe I'll get a better answer. That's why I say welcome to the conversation. Join me if you will. It's an interesting line from the anti-terrorist, and I cannot take credit for that line. It's such a good one. It's a video log. You all are just invited in to listen to me make my notes. This is me thinking aloud. Here's what's on my mind tonight. You got me thinking, G-Man. You made me start asking why. it rolled into an interesting conversation tonight that boiled over and made me want to make this video. This is why I posted the video, to answer the question and to sit down and put it out there for the record. I want to stay alive. I want my family to be okay. If things become adverse, I would like to at least have, what's the word I'm looking for? Contingency plans, fallback plans. I want avenues. I want solutions. I want to backfill just in case. My philosophy is if things start to go bad, I'm more concerned with, do I stay in the house? And if I have to move and go out and try to get away from population, how can I do one or the other? What are the things that can be done? I would rather get away from the people. I would rather get away from the violence. I would recommend that should things go extremely bad, you go invisible. Disappear. Go lay low. Become invisible. Wait it out. Spend a month or two. Relax. Read books. Do whatever and be bored. Out of the way. Let it sort itself out. Attrition is going to take a lot of idiots out of this program. Do not engage in what you do not understand. If things start going bad and people start getting into this mob mentality, get the fuck away from it. Get away. Don't go fighting. Don't go taking on the police. Your local police have nothing to do with the problem at hand. Your military has nothing to do with the problem at hand. They're your neighbors. They're your friends. They're your community. They may be taking orders, but at some point, if those orders are not defending the Constitution against threats internal and external, they're in violation of their oath. And these people are not stupid. They understand lawful orders. They're not going to sit down and just start shooting up Americans. I think that they would have a big moral issue with it. It's not a good thought. If it's an economic collapse, I'm terrified of the banks. I don't trust the bastards one bit. Doesn't mean I'm going to say go shoot the banks. No. You can't fight mortgages with a gun. It's not possible. You're never going to win. You have to be smart. You have to think things through. This is my message. And if the government feels that this is a terrifying thing, that somebody's worried about their security, their safety, and their peace of mind, well, then I'm guilty. What else can I do? But there's too many people out there that advocate, join the militia, fight the government. If shit goes on, start shooting everybody. No, because if you are just going to dissolve into a moralless, lawless individual, you're going to get sucked into the very group problem that's going to get you killed. And I don't think I've ever advocated that. I don't ever, it's not something that crosses my mind. I would rather be like a sniper. I'd like to blend, disappear, lay low, and I have no targets. The source of whatever may come. If it's an economic collapse, I don't know the bankers to shoot. I wouldn't know who to shoot. They're all over the country. I'm not going to get near them. So there's no target. If it's the government and they start clamping down and they, whatever, I can't go after the leaders that caused this. I can't go out and hunt down all these congressmen and blame them because I don't know who did it. I don't know who's pulling strings. I don't know who the targets would be. My local gas station is not my target. My local District 7 representative for the state is not the guy that did this. There's nobody in my state that has anything to do with the problems that would get to the nightmare that we kind of sit here and discuss. No targets. There's nothing you can. There's nothing in your state that you can go after. stop and think about it. The only thing you can do is defend, protect, and be smart. So these are the things that I talk about. How do you get fresh water? How do you do this? How do you deal with, these problems? How do you keep your guns clean? How do you do all these things? How do you replace the thin veneer of society when it breaks down? How do you protect yourselves against the banks? I haven't really covered that issue. But these are the things that I worry about. Why? Back to it. Safety, family, food, protection, and defense. So I have no problem speaking on the subject. If we have no First Amendment, we have no Second Amendment, we have nothing. Well, when they declare that law, then maybe the camera goes off. Maybe I don't want to push that button, because once it's against the law, it's against the law. But last I checked, the idiots that are on the TV are saying stuff that are far more inflammatory than anything that I'm talking about. Why should I worry? Why should I give up my First Amendment rights or my opinions or my way of thinking because I'm scared of something that is not there? And if it is there and they're concerned about me, well, they got my Facebook accounts, they got my phone records, they've got everything already. Who am I hiding from? I'm not hiding. If they're interested in my opinions, let them listen. I don't mind. And I guess that's the difference, is I am not afraid to speak my mind. My opinions may be right or they may be wrong. They're just opinions. So long as I am not advocating anarchy, violation of the law, hurting anybody, or breaking the law, I'm simply holding a conversation. And last I checked, it's not illegal to hold an intelligent conversation. You asked me why I'm willing to post the videos. You're listening, aren't you? Some of the ideas are interesting. In case the rest of you haven't noticed, nobody feels easy. There's just a great big sense of unease. What if? What if? What if? What if the dollar collapses? How do you function? Watch Spain right now. Watch what's going on there. And then realize that for the most part, even if you can get 1 million people to storm around and, protest around the government buildings and express your whatever, it's never worked. Ask the Greeks. Nothing's changed. All that protesting didn't do a damn thing. Watch what happens in Spain. Let them protest their ass off. And when it's all said and done, those boys are going to do whatever they're going to do. And they're not listening to a group of people that have no cohesive message or the ability to provide a solution. They're just pissed off people, and that's all they're ever going to be viewed as. You want to take the street and protest? You go right ahead. I'd like to protest the high taxes. I'd like to protest all the stupid laws. But when it's said and done, they're not going to change the laws, and they'll probably jack my taxes up because they'll say it costs more to enforce all that fucking public protesting. Ask the idiots, Occupy Wall Street. Look how long these people have been doing this, and you know what? It ain't changed nothing. So I don't believe that the powers that be are going to bend their knee to anything we say unless we all, 320 million of us, do it at once. And last I checked, we can't get 10 idiots to agree on how to pull the rope, never mind 320 million. It's a catch-22 scenario. Ergo, I focus primarily on how to protect me, how to be safe, how can I best defend and protect and not get ruined if things start to go bad. How do I pre-position myself? Give me 1 week, 2 weeks to see what's going on and make my adjustments and get into a position faster than the rest of the group. And then by the time they figure out what's going on, it's too late for them to maneuver. Sorry you did not pay attention. This is what I post about. And even that I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you the exact timing when it's time to jump. You'll never see me get on. Hi, folks. In 20 minutes, I'm hauling ass. I wanted to stop and post a video and say, hey, guys, the time to haul ass is right now. Thanks for listening, and I got to go. Because if you're sitting around the house waiting for me to post that video, you're fucked. That's just reality. I just go away. That's it. You don't know me, you don't know where I'm at, and you don't care. If you're listening to me, hopefully you're listening for the ideas. You're fishing for, did I think about this? Did I think about that? And maybe some of the things that I say might actually, be like a seed. And you hear it, and it grows into something else, and it's good for you. And if it is, I think that that's great. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm posting because I'm uneasy. I'm posting because I'm highly nervous about what I'm seeing going on. I'm posting because I can't be the only one. I just can't be the only one that sits down and sees this shit and wonders what is going on and how do I make it through it. And God only knows what the hell is coming. Food, water, shelter, safety. It's about the only thing I'm worried about. Primarily for me and my family. I simply share my ideas. This is why I speak. As an American, I think I'm allowed to speak on that. And what's interesting is I don't have any religious views. I am not overly involved in the subject material. It's not absolute for me. It's rational adult thinking. It's concern. If I'm living in a world where I'm not allowed to be concerned, I'm not allowed to at least express myself or speak to it, then we've already lost our country. And there's nothing to talk about anymore. So why do I speak? It reminds me that at least I'm still in a country where I can. So, G-Man 4. Thanks for the comments. Made for an interesting video. Tied me up for 3 days. Good question. Thanks for joining the conversation. Y'all be good.